Just got some very, very interesting news today, and we're going to keep an eye on Karula, who's sitting facing down into the drainage line. And the interesting news is that because Madiba has been found, some of you may be aware of the fact that he did catch a domestic dog that had broken into the reserve. It was a few days ago, and the large risk that domestic dogs carry in this area is rabies. And just the very brief interaction that Madiba had with that domestic dog, he caught it and carried it up into a tree. Actually didn't kill the dog, but carried it up into a tree. The dog was playing dead, but in the process of catching it and biting onto it, it could well have contracted rabies had that dog have had rabies. Now the dog has been sent off, it was exterminated, and it has been sent off for rabies tests. And in the meantime though, rather than waiting for those tests to come back, the Sabi Sands WildEarth, which is the operation that runs the entire Sabi Sands reserve, and the vets within this organization have decided to inoculate him against rabies. And that is actually going to be done this evening, and it's something that we thought we would actually like to try and share with you. It's something bizarre, it's something that I've never seen happen, so you will be seeing something potentially that I've never seen before. And basically what they're going to do is they've got a dart with the rabies inoculation, and they will shoot it into Madiba's bottom in all likelihood, or that's where they're hoping to be aiming, and the dart will self-inject. So upon impact it injects the inoculation, and in all likelihood Madiba will then irritatedly pull or scratch the dart out, or within 45 minutes it's got a self-releasing mechanism, so it pops out of the leopard. Of course, just like when we get an injection, Madiba is going to get a little bit of a fright, so we could expect him to possibly pounce, or who knows, maybe he'll just look around and act like nothing's never happened. But we've got to remember that it's critical that this does happen. If he is not inoculated, and that dog was rabies, or was rabid, and he gets rabies, he too will have to be shot. And that, of course, is the last thing we want. And we need to send you across there now, so be ready for some action. We don't know what's going to happen, but it is highly necessary. See you later.
Okay, everybody, we've been given permission to film Sindile having his inoculation. He's going to be inoculated now. So I'm going to be very quiet and you're just going to watch.
Go for it, Edwin.
So just keep an eye on the leopard. He will run. He will probably run. It will sting him. So it won't be very nice for him. But don't worry, he will be fine. I'm just going to be very quiet. He's definitely quite suspicious. There's a dart gun sticking out of the other vehicle. Just keep watching. Here we go. Yeah, we might want to be a little bit wider. I don't know. I think he's going to leap like a scalded cat. Here we go. I think there was a misfire. Yeah, there was definitely a misfire. I think the gas canister in the dart gun did not go off. So she's just replacing it. These are highly competent people here. So we're just going to wait patiently and watch. So everybody, please don't be alarmed if he does get up and run. He will probably disappear out of screen faster than the frames can pick him up. But don't be alarmed by that. It's entirely fine. Okay. You're going to keep trying? Okay. So there is a jam in the dart gun, everyone. They've got to try and push it out manually, so stand by. If Karula does anything truly spectacular, we will record this regardless. So don't worry, you won't miss it. If Karula does something spectacular, we'll probably cross back to her. But unfortunately, I still don't think I have any I don't think I have any radio communication, so I'm just going to quickly check if I can get Nikki at all. Nikki, do you copy? It's a miracle, everybody. There is a working radio connection. This is great news. So you can now talk to me on the Twitter. Liam's going to keep his camera trained on the leopard. The Sabi Sands guys are just going out to try and reload the dart gun, which is being recalcitrant. It's a very complex piece of equipment. Well, I'm not really copying her, I'm afraid. It's about 0 out of 5. Are you getting her at all? 2 out of 5. What's she saying?
Don't know.
No.
And it got the end and the is pause.
Okay, everybody. Nikki, I can't hear you. Sindile's little ears are bent down like that because there seem to be some franklins knocking about the place. I also think there is a buffalo or two the other side of that other vehicle. There's another vehicle in the sighting. And there seems to be a buffalo there, and so he's just got his ears in that kind of stalk mode. Nikki, if you want to talk with me, WhatsApp's the way to go, I'm afraid. Or you can phone. So that was a bit of an anticlimax. I did hear a little kind of from the back from the dart gun, and clearly it wasn't functioning as it should. Now what we don't want is for him to get up and move. They do need daylight to do it. So if it becomes dark, I think they'll probably try again tomorrow. So the Sabi Sands is just reversed out. You can perhaps hear the sound of their engine. They're just trying to fix it up. And an interesting question from Barb G. Who applies the... from Lynn. Barb, we got to... if darting will change his view on people and vehicles. Lynn, it might very briefly. I don't know that he'll associate the sting that he's going to get on his rump with the vehicle. He might, but I don't think it won't affect him in the long term. I think he'll forget about it pretty quickly. Maybe tomorrow he'll be a little bit nervous and we'll have to approach him a bit more carefully, but I don't think that there will be a huge difference. There is an image from Nicola coming through. I don't know what on earth it says, but I'm waiting for it. In the meanwhile, what a privilege to spend yet more time with magnificent little Sindile. Here we go. Here's the question. Come through an image. I'll just read it. And little Isabella, aged 4, you want to know why they don't give him a band-aid? It will make him feel better. Isabella, leopards don't like band-aids, you know. They're so clever at healing themselves that it just doesn't really hurt them and enough to warrant us putting a band-aid on. And they've also got fur, of course, and that means that a band-aid really won't stick very well, even if we could get close enough to put a band-aid on him. And then Elise in Colorado, are leopards inoculated for rabies and other diseases routinely, or is it only after they've been possibly exposed? Elise, it's only after a possible exposure. It's not done routinely. We try and interfere as little as possible with all of the animals in the bush here. It's only when there's an anthropogenic harm done, and obviously a domestic dog would be considered an anthropogenic effect or an anthropogenic threat to an animal, and that is why they are that's why they're going to inoculate him. It is possible that some leopards eat a domestic dog. We don't see it, and that is an absolute worry, and certainly it's possible. And certainly with that, you know, the leopard you saw, some of you would have seen that Sindile pulled that dog up into the top of a tree, and so it became pretty obvious. And the leopards we see quite a lot. With a lion, though, I wonder what he's definitely spotted something, maybe a squirrel or a duiker or maybe another francolin. But what leopards definitely do, at least what lions definitely do, is that if they caught a domestic dog, they would devour it in seconds and you wouldn't know. And so that is a worry. Whereas leopard, because we spend so much time with them and they eat a little more slowly, chances are you'd find them with the dog. But lions, it happens so fast. Anyway, we're still waiting. There's clearly some problem with the dart gun. So I don't think we'll wait for too much longer, because if we do have to, it's going to get dark, and that's obviously going to be an issue. They won't shoot him during the dark. And by shoot I mean dart, everybody, don't worry. I rather hope they do it now, because oh look, looks like he's going to try and stalk something.
There's a francolin.
Is there a francolin? Viam can see a francolin. There they are. Little crested francolins making their way off. I've seen francolins walk right up to this leopard. He just looks at them. Others have been obviously made dinner of. Now this other fellow is going to leave. Whether or not they get the dart gun to work, I don't know. But we'll hang around and just see what they do. I think it's well worth our while. And even if you have to go back to Karula, I of course won't know if you've gone back to Karula. You may be back with him now. But if you if you do go back to Karula, we are recording, and we'll definitely make sure to show you on a highlights reel if and when this great event occurs. Here they come. They're coming back. They may, of course, just go straight past, because no, they're coming back in. Now what this fellow is going to do, I couldn't tell you. So there's another car driving past us. That's why you're having to stare down my left ear. Thank you for that, Viam. I hope I've cleaned it. Cleanish. There we go. Right, so that car's leaving. We're going to put our sights back on magnificent little Sindile, and the Sabi Sands guys will come back in now. It's really on the edge of whether we'll be able to get him today now with the light available. And the slowness with which that other chap is leaving is not helping the matter at all. And now he's stopped to have an enormous chat. Anyway, here we go. Action stations, everybody. Nikki has asked for a link to Karula, but I think they're about to try and dart him again, so we're going to stay here. I'm not sure if you are live or if you are not live. I couldn't begin to tell you at this stage. I suspect these guys are going to drive around the back of him so that they can get at his backside. Go. Right. That's actually a perfect view for us. Sindile, put your head down. This is going to hurt. Little sting. Little. Okay, here we go. I will tell you, the little dart gun's sticking out of the window now. Sindile has his backside turned. Conditions are perfect. Got him. Got him. I think. Okay, I'm just going to move back a little bit. We have got a view of him. I don't know if it hit him or not. Is he coming forward?
There you go.
Oh, there he goes, he's running. He's running now. Okay, everybody, that's it for us, I'm afraid. We're going to just, you can see his spots there. I can't see if it's hitting or not. We're going to have a quick look and see. Okay,
I don't see anything in his right hand side.
okay.
But you've already dropped.
Any luck? He's just gone round the side. Okay. All right, everybody, we're going to hand you back to Scott now. We may try and help these guys find him again, but I don't think we need to drag you along for the ride. If anything else exciting happens, we will record it and we'll send it over to you. So we're going to go across to Scott now, and I'll keep you posted. Very exciting afternoon. I think they did miss, unfortunately. Very difficult to shoot with those things. We'll see you just now.